how to edit the AI's recommendation. Now, first and foremost, we highly discourage you from editing the recommendation manually. When the AI provide all of this recommendation, it is based on data that is grounded, recommendation that has been safeguarded against errors and issue. Once you have manually edit the information here, you have edited the audience setting, the bid and whatever not, then Peasy AI can no longer safeguard the results. So there are a few things that you can edit manually. One, you can always create your own audience segment. And you can key in whatever the information you prefer. The interests. So I can key in any interest I like. And if you are stuck, you can always click on this button for Peasy to get recommendation in terms of the interest as well. So you can actually click on this and you will actually recommend other interests that is relevant to whatever you have keyed in. You can also load existing custom audience, lookalike audience, and save audience that you have saved onto your Facebook, for example. And if you want to exclude certain people from seeing your ad, you can always key it in here. So all these people will not be seeing your ad. Any audience segment, any interest that you have keyed into the exclude section will be excluded from viewing your ad. Include will include everyone who matches either any of these criteria. They will see your ad. For example, if you want everyone who have an associate degree and is also in the top household income, you use narrow. Narrow is an end condition. That means what we are saying right now is that we want anyone who have an associate degree or interested in dropshipping or interested in Shopify and so forth and belongs to the top 25% to 50% of household income in the US, but do not have a doctorate degree to see this ad. So this is how include, narrow, and exclude work. So include everyone who matches this criteria, either of this criteria, sorry. Narrow is an N, this criteria plus this criteria, this criteria plus this criteria, excluding anyone who matches this criteria. So all I have to do then is click Add Audience. Now, when Peasy create any audience segment, you can see that the budget split, 34%, 34%, 32%, is based on understanding the population size that is available and what is the maximum we can spend with this audience within this campaign duration. So it is carefully and meticulously calculated. If you decide to change this percentage because you have just created an audience segment, and we have to ensure that the total sum of all these percentages is 100. So since this is now 10%, and we have now have to change this to 24% in order to get 100%, then you must bear in mind that the numbers that are given here, although they have changed accordingly, Peasy is no longer responsible, or the AI is no longer accountable for delivering these numbers. These numbers that is now changing is purely based on simple mathematical arithmetics that is based on whatever you have entered in. But it doesn't necessarily, it's realistic. It's not necessarily realistic, right? Now, whatever changes you have done here, please click on the update button in order for this data to be safe. You can also edit existing audience. Again, all of this is highly discouraged, right? So I can always change whatever the AI recommended. For example, I can change the gender, remove female from this ad, reduce the age group, right? And all I have to do is just click on this single button, and you can see that the population size automatically changed from 2.8 million earlier on to 2.4 million. Let me show you again. Suppose now I change this. I change Peasy recommendation to just WooCommerce. Earlier on it was 2.4 million. And I have removed some of the interest targeting. You can see the audience population size automatically shrink to 130,000. Now, this number is no longer feasible because you can see that any audience segment when the population size is 130, although the CPA remains the same, okay, but it's highly unrealistic and unlikely. If we have a population of only 130,000 people, to get 28 sales out of these guys within 7 days, it is highly unlikely. So despite the numbers remain the same, but once you have manually changed the recommendation, the numbers and the prediction is no longer realistic. For example, right now Peasy is recommending that you spend 34 ringgit as a bid for every conversion. Now you might think that, hey, 34 is a bit too much. I want to change this now to 4 ringgit. And I click on update audience. Now this number obviously increases a lot, but this is a simple arithmetic. It is based on taking this budget divided by the bid. Although the number increases drastically, but it's not realistic because paying 4 ringgit for every conversion is not going to be competitive. Your ad will not even be shown by Facebook in the first place. So we highly discourage you from manually changing any of this information. Again, you can also change how the budget is split across both channels. So right now, the AI is recommending 70-30. You can always change this to 50-50. And once you make any changes here, please click on the update button. You can also delete some of the recommended audience by selecting the tick here and click on the delete button. If you ever want to restore the recommendation, click on this button and the AI would restore the recommendation to the default setting. Okay, so that is how you edit your audience.